Antonio Pigafetta.
Who is Antonio Pigafetta? Famous Italian traveler born in Vicenza around 1490. He was wounded at the Battle of the Island of Cebu, in which Magellan found dead. He was with the first expedition to the Moluccas, began in August of 1519 and finished in the year 1522. The account of Pigafetta is the single most important source about the voyage of circumnavigation. This travelogue is one of the most important primary sources in the study of pre-colonial buildings. His account was also a major referent to the events leading to Magellan's arrival in the Philippines. His encounter with local leaders, his death in the hands of Lapu-Lapu's force in the Battle of Mactan, and the departure of what was left of Magellan's fleet from the islands. He wrote his first-hand observation and general impression of the Far East, including their experiences in the Visayas. Summary of the first voyage around the world by Magellan and Pigafetta's account. Their fleet reached what he called the Landul's Islands, presently known as Marianas Islands, or the Islands of the Thames. These people have no arms but use sticks, which have a fishbone at the end. They are poor but ingenious and great thieves, and for the sake of that we call these three islands the Landul's Island. March 16, 1521, Pigafetta reported that they reached the Isles of Samar, now Samar, but Magellan decided to land in another uninhabited island for greater security where they could rest for a few days. After 2 days, March 18, 9 men came to them and showed joy and eagerness in seeing them and welcomed them with food, drinks, and gifts. Those men willingly showed them different islands and the names of this island. They went to Humunu Island, where they found the first signs of gold in the island. March 25, 1521, they saw 2 balangay, a longboat full of people in Mazava. Rahashagu sent his men to the ship of Magellan. The king offered to give Magellan a bar of gold and chest of ginger, but he declined and instead asked for money for the needs of the ships. The king responded by giving them the needed provision of food in Chinaware. Magellan exchanged gifts, and the 2 men expressed their desire to become brothers. Magellan boasted of his men in an armor who could not struck with sword and daggers. The king was fascinated and remarked that men in such armor could be worth 100 of his men. Magellan showed other weapons, helmets, and artilleries. He also shared his charts and maps and how they found the islands. Magellan was introduced to the king's brother, who was also king of another island. They saw mines of gold, and it was abundant that the parts of the ship and the house of the second king were made of gold. Raha was the king of Zulu, and Pigafetta described him as the most handsome of all men that he saw in this place. He was adorned with silk and golden accessories like golden dagger, which he carried with him in a wooden polish. March 31, Easter Sunday, Magellan ordered the chaplain to recite a mass by the shore. The king sent 2 dead pigs and attended the mass with the other king. When the offertory of the mass came, the 2 kings went to kiss the cross like us, but they offered nothing, and thus elevation of the body of our Lord, they were kneeling like us and adored our Lord with joined hands. Magellan ordered that the cross be brought with nails and crown in place. The cross, nails, and crown were the sign of his emperor, and that he was ordered to plant in place that he would reach, and the cross would be beneficial for their people, because once the Spaniards saw this cross, they would know that they had been in this land and would not cause them trouble, and any person who might have captives by them would release. April 7, 1521, Magellan and his men reached the port of Cebu, the largest and the richest of the islands, with the help of Raha Calambuk, the king of Cebu. Raha Humabon demanded that they pay tribute as it was customary, but Magellan refused and said that he was the captain himself and thus would not pay tribute to the other king. Magellan interpreter explained to the king of Cebu that Magellan's king was the emperor of great empire and it would do better to make friends with them than to forge enmity. The king consulted his council, and the next day they meet in open space, and the king offered a bit of his blood, demanded that Magellan do the same. Magellan spoke about peace and God. People took pleasure in this speech. He even asked the people who could succeed the king after his reign, and the people responded that the eldest child who happened to be daughter. Parents were no longer taken into account and have to follow orders of their children as the new leaders of the clans. People wish to become a Christian through their free will and not because they were forced or intimidated. April 14, 1521, the people gathered with the king and other principal men of the islands. Magellan encouraged the king to be a good Christian by burning all the idols and worship the cross instead, and eventually the king of Cebu and its people was baptized as Christian. Pigafetta admitted that they burned a village down for obeying neither the king nor Magellan. The mass was conducted by the shore every day, and when Hara Amihan came one day, Magellan gave her an image of the infant Jesus made by Pigafetta himself. April 26, 1521, Zulu from Mactan went to see Magellan and asked him a boat full of men so that he could fight the chief named Lapu-Lapu. According to him, Lapu-Lapu refused to obey the king and was also preventing him from doing so. Magellan offered 3 boats and went to Mactan himself to fight Lapu-Lapu. They arrived in Mactan daylight with 49 in numbers, while the islanders of Mactan were estimated 1,500. Magellan died in the battle. The natives, perceiving that the bodies of the enemies were protected by armors, aimed for their legs instead. Magellan was pierced with a poisoned arrow in his right leg. A few of their men charged at the natives and tried to intimidate them by burning the entire village, but this only enraged the natives further. April 26, to sail San Antonio, Concepcion, Victoria, Trinidad, Santiago. Only Victoria returned to Spain, and from the original